Rachel Zegler is extraordinarily woke, but she's woke in a way that's quite deranged.
No one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
But you don't seemingly like your own character, so she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
The star, Rachel Zegler, is unbelievably charmless in public.
She was, as woke as they are.
She just sounds bitter and angry.
I don't think they're going to buy it. I don't think they're going to watch it. I don't think they're going to like it.
Every time she speaks, she gets less likable.
This truly is the worst casting, maybe, in the history of the film industry.
Rachel Zegler, she's an asshole.
You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White. Right. You should shut up.
Spend 1 minute on Snow White and how it totally imploded at the box office this weekend.
Rachel is literally the star of a Disney movie, and she acts like she's some sort of victim, and that's the sort of mentality that is just poisoning people's minds. Like, she acts like her life is so bad.
I truly do believe that. There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy, and she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion. But the reality is she's just not stable, like the majority of people in Hollywood. They're just not stable human beings. I would highly advise that you boycott this film, no matter how much your children love Snow White.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, I don't need your business. Thanks.
They spent $170 million to make the thing, and it had the lowest opening, under $50 million, of any of these live-action Disney remakes that they've ever had.
And, you know the saying, go woke, get broke, and Disney's going to lose money on this movie. And I believe it only made less than $1 million in China.
If Disney wants to make more woke films that tank at the box office, they are more than welcome to do that, but maybe think of an original idea.
A few lessons for Disney. Number one, stop cannibalizing all your old IP. Like, it's really bad. It's really bad business. Number two, please stop changing all of the historic plots, which actually have meaning to generations of people, to instead become generic woke story about how woman leads revolutionary uprising and she don't need no man.
What if, before the Disney live-action credits rolled, a single spoiled actress ruined a Disney classic? Snow White was envisioned as a big-budget, golden ticket, instant cash, legendary tale. Rather, it is a flaming heap of failure. Additionally, Rachel Zegler is the one with a match. This is about a harsh, entitled celebrity with a woke chip on her shoulder who turns a fairy tale into a nightmare. And it's not just about a movie tanking. By disparaging the original and starting online arguments, she ensured that this remake was a huge hit. This is how everything went wrong. Additionally, they continuously say things that are absolutely terrible because they are desperate for attention and can never get enough of it. They are unable to get enough of it. Disney believed they had found a princess until the backlash struck like a ton of bricks. She certainly had that beginner's glow and could sing. However, fans went crazy when the word broke that Snow White should be as pale as snow. They shouted on the internet. She had received a golden glow. Yes, but Disney did this. People anticipate modesty, not sexiness. You could already see problems coming.
And to constantly say things that are like just atrocious because they're looking for attention and they can never have enough of it. They can never have enough of it.
She spat on the traditional. By 2022. Zegler was working on the movie's press, which was already in disarray due to a set fire that cost millions of dollars in the company. She wouldn't play nice as most celebs would. On the 1937 Snow White cartoon, which made Disney a household name, she went all woke warrior.
Fans accusing Disney of inserting unnecessary feminism into classic fairy tales.
She's not going to be safe for the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird.
The fans were furious. Who is this girl to disparage our childhood? She continued boasting about how the new version eschewed the romance in favor of a girl boss twist, as if she were too good for the story she was paid to tell. Her entire demeanor screamed entitlement.
These big bad feminists now are telling us that's ridiculous. How dare you want to meet a handsome prince and be swept off of your feet and live happily ever after? No, you should want to be the prince. You should want to go out and fight the bad guys with a sword.
It's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign.
They have been making this film for a very long time because it's just been so scandalized. And so they had to basically put it on ice after people were first off firstly outraged by Rachel Zegler speaking ill about the prior film, the film that she was remaking. And it's such a weird thing for their whole pitch as feminists to be is like the best thing you can strive to be is a man. Everything will be great once we just act exactly like men. There's nothing special about being a woman. Let's just be men. It just doesn't feel like we're winning.
So no prince or a different kind of prince?
I'm sure a lot of people will assume it's a love story just because like we cast a guy in the movie. Right. Andrew Burnap, great dude.
Yeah.
All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Who the hell are you to say all of Andrew's scenes could get cut? Like, who are you?
Oh my God.
Are you Disney? I've read your book, and I have. It's a phenomenal book. You're losing generation of loyal viewers. When you think about Snow White, what is the premise? What is the story?
It's a love story. It's a love story.
It's a dream for a girl to grow up and a man falls in love.
I'm really upset that it's the biggest theme here is that it's anti-men. She called him a star.
A lecture was not what Disney fans wanted. They desired magic. Public relations professionals were undoubtedly sweating profusely when her offensive jabs at a 90-year-old classic failed to make Snow White trend quickly.
That's one interview clip that you read the quote from, but she's gone on to talk about this film numerous times, how she once thought Snow White was creepy, she doesn't like the prince, she thinks she should get paid more because she has to wear that dress, she should get paid for streaming, for every hour she has to wear the dress. I mean, talk about biting the hand that...
For the dwarfs, one large mouth changed everything. On a podcast, the Game of Thrones character became enraged and asked why Disney was still acting like such a backward dwarf. The year is 2022. Overnight, they substituted CGI mystical beings for the seven dwarfs. Naturally, Zegler had to add his woke and proud voice. She wrote something claiming to have personally rescued the day, but we're getting past stereotypes.
Then they got even crazier and they decided that the dwarves in Snow White weren't woke enough, okay?
These are roles made for actors of my stature. I can't go out for the Harrison Ford or the George Clooney roles because that's not for me.
Right.
And now it's taken away. I don't feel that's right.
Did the dwarfs make it or no?
Well, the CGI dwarfs did. Of course, that goes back to the original controversy where Peter Dinklage, a very talented little person actor, said, why are we doing that? We've hired a Latina actress to be Snow White. That's progressive. But you're going to hire little people to play the dwarfs? That just seems like a step backwards. And then, of course, Disney instantly buckled and said, okay, we're going to add magical creatures.
However, the small performers were furious. As we lose our jobs, she is out here preaching. Online, one vintage Peter has a lot of. We're not.
But what is this process now where it's like in order to be inclusive, you have to completely destroy storylines, completely destroy franchises? I don't believe in that. I don't think that consumers believe in that either.
Pictures of the CGI replacements that were leaked online showed dull, shimmering blobs that resembled toys from the dollar store. Supporters dismissed them with laughter. Zegler didn't care that actors called it a slap in the face because she was too busy pretending to be a progressive hero. The production, which was already a fiasco, was made even worse by her arrogant, no-best attitude. Money was leaking, reshoots were delayed, and now the fairy tale was rotting.
Peter Dinklage, you're rich. We're not. We're trying to be extras or, we're in Johnny Knoxville's Jackass if we're lucky. And so for them, they're like, you're not going to cast us to be inclusive and progressive. But these guys at Disney, they're not that bright. They're not that smart. And we see that because they can't come up with any new IP.
Her impolite remarks turn into Disney's biggest adversary. In 2024, Snow White was just a hair's breadth away from being released in March 2025. Zegler had the option to remain silent, but instead she went all diva. On Instagram following the US election, she attacked Trump supporters. She wrote, "May you never know peace. Burned coffee-soaked socks, screw you everyone." It hit like petrol on a fire and was a peak known as Brad Energy.
You are not entitled to call for Trump supporters to be harmed. Like, you are actually not entitled to do that. And so let me just remind you, Rachel Zegler, of what the map looks like, just so you can understand when your Disney movie is coming out, how many people you are wishing harm upon. Like, this is America right now.
This nasty little punk must leave. Disney fired Kelly when she messed up. Millions of people witnessed Kelly tear Zegler to pieces in the viral video. Fans boycotted X after her woke outburst caused them to swear off the movie. She attempted to apologize with phony tears. "I became emotional. Unfortunately, no one purchased it."
I will love you through these 4 years as best I can. F Donald Trump. Yeah, totally stable thing for her to be posting, wishing harm upon Trump voters, wishing that we have no peace.
Megyn Kelly jumped on it, tearing into her on air.
And they postponed the release of this thing, Ben, for a year because their star, Rachel Zegler, was so unlikable, told all Trump supporters that they could off, excuse me, but she did. That was just in November. They didn't even know she was going to do that one. Said she hated Snow White, mocked the fact that there was a prince and that she falls in love as opposed to leaning into her own. Cry me a river. She's just exactly everything that we can't stand.
One comment encapsulated it. Disney stayed mum, but word got out that they wanted her gone because of her snobbish attitude, which was ruining the film before it had even begun. Unfortunately, she was a walking disaster, and the situation was going to get messier after the filming was finished.
Because you just can't close your mouth. You just can't be sane, even when you do open your mouth. I think this girl does not deserve a feature-length film, but rather she deserves to be in a padded cell.
You want to trash that legacy? That company that now Disney has screwed up the last 5 years trying to please a small percentage of minorities in America? Yeah, we're sick of it. So the more you do this, Disney, Iger, Rachel Zegler, whatever her name is, yes, this is exactly the backlash you're going to get from parents who have kids who are your customers. You're supposed to win parents over. You're talking to kids, the parents pay for the tickets. You have to be a dummy as a marketer to be saying, if I'm Bob Iger, you know what we're doing? Emergency meeting. We're putting Snow White on hold for 2 years, and guess what? Pay her a couple $1,000,000, go away. We're going to bring another person to play this role because you just screwed this thing.
Disney lost a hefty wager. When March 21st, 2025 arrived, Snow White fell heavily. Trailers were a waste of time. Poor CGI Ziegler, no spark, stiff grin. With a budget of more than $200 million, it debuted at $43 million in the US. That is a disaster. Disney wanted to make at least $150 million by appealing to nostalgia and families. No, ghost towns were theaters. There are no costume children, only vacant seats. It was discredited by critics. It was reportedly said by an awakened board that Snow White is a dud. One more piled on the CGI dwarfs appear to be App Store rejections. That was also unable to save it. It was hated by the fans who went. Too pretentious, unenthusiastic, and a fairy tale ruined. Unsold merchandise people were turned off by Ziegler's nasty behavior and aggressive preaching, and dwarf toys were on sale and collecting dust.
All these studios have to stop letting their actors loose. I mean, honestly, just shut your actors.
Disney believed that drama would be popular. Rather, it cost them millions. What comes next following this failure?
Because guess what? Nobody grew up with that crap, and nobody's all that interested in it. It's very good for people to learn that women need men, and also that men need women. I don't know why this fell out of fashion, and we're not allowed to just say that sort of stuff anymore, but it actually happens to be the truth.
Hollywood is booming. Disney regrets everything. The consequences are harsh. Disney executives are reportedly freaked out. Imminent layoffs plans for a remake were ruined. Their mood was destroyed, and insiders spilt everything is being reconsidered. With Ziegler's name now tainted by marketing, losses might reach $150 million. According to a casting professional, she has talent. However, she is a nasty mess. Nobody is touching her because of her entitled demeanor and woke outbursts, which made her a liability. Disney is attempting to stream it, but the stink still exists online. She is a joke. Fairy tale wrecker Rachel Zegler.
Disney's Snow White was essentially a box office dud. The regime that decided that wokeness needed to be infused in every movie. If they keep going along this path, they're going to go bankrupt.
This turned from a fairy tale to a complete catastrophe, and it's not finished yet. Disney chooses a brazen newcomer who despises the original. She starts arguments, irritates admirers, and trashes a classic with her harsh, entitled, and woke words. CGI rubbish is used in place of dwarfs. She may have issues with GDU, and the film makes $87 million out of $200 million or more. Ziegler is looking foolish and jeopardizing Disney's millions with his career. Fans have finished. Some are upset with her race, while others are upset with her attitude and the mess. GDO's chilly. Ziegler's line of humor. She be able to recover? Will Disney stop making remakes? This isn't going to have a happy ending. It's an impolite reminder.